Okay, guys, welcome back to another live episode of No F's Given. My good pal Max, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm excited for this one.
This one's great. So first thing, straight off the bat, I would like to say a great big thank you to Matchroom, who forgot to send us our presser passes. We hope it's because it was all oversubscribed because of the Anthony Joshua thing, right? We know it's one of the biggest fights in boxing when Anthony Joshua was involved with it. Obviously, we'll go straight into the bat with that. I did watch the live presser. Fortunate enough that Matchroom allow us to see it, so that's one thing. And we're going to go straight into it, and our guys are going to edit it and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. So the first thing I want to take away from it, did you actually see Derek Chisora, actually what he said?
Yes.
I was really quite impressed by the way he is. I don't do drugs in boxing. I only do drugs in Ibiza. Notice to all you kids.
On a serious note, though, it was like, if you're caught doing drugs and that in the boxing world, 10-year ban.
Well, I think, to be honest, I mean, Tony Bellew was calling lifetime. I mean, the thing is, I've said it lots and lots, and you've heard me say it. You know, it's the only sport in the world where you're legally allowed to kill somebody, right? And it is. And when you're in that ring, your sole purpose is like take their head off, right?
Yeah, that's like what Chisora said, isn't it? So imagine if you killed someone while you're on drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And folks at home, just to give you the right sort of spiel with that, we're not talking recreational drugs here, because that would actually make you perform worse, right? Mind you, it would be less painful, but it would actually perform you worse. We're talking performance-enhancing drugs, something that gives you that extra edge over your opponent. So, yeah, I'm totally in agreement with him. 10 years, that's really lenient. The British Boxing Board of Control needs to do instant bans if you're caught. And perhaps, Max, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's about time that they get rid of VADA, UKAD, and all the other doping, and actually have one anti-doping agency that is global?
Yes, I think they should just global. I said it before in our last one. I said they should get rid of them like that lot and start fresh with a new one governing body what deals with it all. You know, it's no good having 2 or 3 different ones because we're all getting different results, which I don't think is right. So get rid of them all and have one governing body for the drug testing, and you know that's the way forward now for the boxing, I think.
Well, I mean, you've got to take the sport seriously. I mean, we don't know yet what the drug is. I haven't heard of the drug that we're talking about here, but you have to take it seriously, right? There's no
because, like I say, there's people's lives on the line at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's deadly. I mean, it's the only sport in the world you can actually kill somebody and get away with it. I mean, the thing is as well that people need to realise is that this is people's lives. I understand that the desire to win is a strong desire. I totally get it. I really, really get it. But what I don't understand is why you would cheat to win.
Yeah.
Because
they do say cheat's going to prosper.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately they do. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a meeting with Mickey Moo, who's part of Streetwise Management, guys. Thank you very much for your continued support, Mickey. And we'll be at York Hall for the 16th of September, and I think it's the 23rd. So we got 2 Fridays in a row that we're at York Hall supporting his fighters, Ahmed Hatim and Rakim Tattoo. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be great. And I think there's a third. I do apologise for the name. But yeah, so... And I've lost completely my train of thought on a live show.
Yes, well, just getting back to the presser today.
Oh, no, that's right. Sorry, I've remembered now. I just jogged my memory. So when we were meeting... I was having a chat with Mickey back in my fighting days. Okay, you used to have what was called in competition and out competition, right? So out of competition, you weren't tested. So essentially, you were allowed to do whatever you liked. However, people get the misunderstanding of what a PED actually is. So you've got a performance-enhancing element, but there's other drugs called masking agents. And what they do is they mask those drugs from being picked up in the tests. Yeah. So now that's right. And because of that, it's the masking agents that they're now picking up. Now, because drugs are being taken, they're not drugs as such, because performance-enhancing medications, shall we say, are being taken outside of competition.
Yeah.
Right? What's actually happening is the drugs of these people take inside a competition are designed to release all the stuff from the body before it's tested. Okay, that's the point of them, or to mask them altogether. And that's what the problem is. So until we know what drug it was that Dillian Whyte is perceived, we'll use the perceived bit because we don't want to be sued by Dillian, because I actually like him as a guy.
I want to keep my teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. So not that bad one though, eh? Not a bad one.
You got that one.
Yeah, but is perceived to have taken, and I actually happen to agree with Chisora on this, because the strength and conditioning coach, the nutritionist, and everyone else should be dealing with all of this food. So the fighters, in a lot of times, are innocent of this, and they don't know it's there. But you are, as a fighter, responsible for what goes in your body. So that's just to sort of clarify where we are with that, and that's obviously the biggest story, right? Obviously, the Dillian Whyte.
In that Brandon Scott, where he said one dressed up as Spider-Man.
I dare to think. Go on.
It's hilarious. He come out dressed as Spider-Man, whipped off his mask, and then he was like, having a little chat, and he was going, Eddie was wanting to find a fighter, so he went, they picked me because I'm scrawny, and he went, he definitely knows I'm not on no drugs. It was hilarious.
Oh,
and then
don't.
he looked at Eddie, looked a bit like, a bit nervous.
How funny? How funny is that? You know, to me, I just think it's such a shame. It's such a shame when things like, because it brings the whole thing into disrepute, right? Yes. And that to me, it's terrible, really. You know, because I want to take my hat off to Joshua. I know you're not his biggest fan, Max. I don't think you like any British heavyweight, really. I think you're anti-British heavyweight.
Well, I'll tell you what, after I see Joshua earlier, he done a little statement, and I respected what he said, because he didn't weigh in on Dillian Whyte. He was asked about it, and he didn't weigh him on, and then he said, when a man's down, you don't kick him in the teeth, only pussies do that. And he didn't weigh in that, and he said he's still got a chance to dispute this. You know, he's still got to bring his case forward yet. So, for that reason, I thought that was quite decent of Joshua.
What I found decent of Joshua, if
could have cost me my fight, could have cost me millions, but he never. He was quite respectful to Dillian.
Well, I think the other thing is as well is you've got a lot of people around Dillian. He has, and he's now going to be asking questions of every single person that sat around him. You know, this is a conversation we've had with Connor. Right, when he was talking to me about it, I said it must make you question everybody around you if you're innocent in this. Yeah. And a lot of time these fighters are, except the Jarrell Miller case, you know, he's deliberately injecting steroids. You know, they're innocent in it. You know, they're taking these supplements, they're taking these powders, whey proteins. I mean, you're taking the whey protein and stuff like that. You don't really know what's in it. You're just taking it. Put them down, Mighty Mouse. But do you know what I mean? So a lot of these fighters trust the strength and conditioning coaches. I won't use the acronyms and stuff.
Well, look where we was at your call a couple of months ago when we seen what the fighters. I think it was on Hamza Butt's debut.
Yeah.
The fighter was just given a drink that from his trainer or manager, or whoever it was, and he's drinking it. He didn't know what was in it. He was drinking it.
It's the trust, isn't it? I mean, we know the trainer, right? So we know Bill Whitrod. And we know he's up there. I mean, we went.
It wasn't Hamza Butt. It was another fighter. It wasn't Bill on that one. It was another fighter.
You know, but the same process. So where Bill went and got drinks, went and got waters, said to us, "Oh, do you want a drink?" He did, brought waters in. Yeah. It's that level of trust, right? So obviously we know Bill, we trust Bill. Yeah. Nice fella, been down his gym plenty of times. Nice guy, right? And then you know, but. Then there comes to other unscrupulous trainers, right? They want their fighters to get that next level of the game.
Get that little edge over their opponent.
Yeah, and when you're talking at that lower level of professional boxing, when things aren't up there with championship fights, although they do have the same sort of tests, they don't test them as rigorously as they would for, you know, world championship bouts. And I think that, you know, anything could happen. You know, anything could happen. I mean, you know, we've talked to plenty of fighters. We've talked to plenty of professionals. We know what the score is when it comes to this. We know about that. We've had plenty of discussions with it in the past. Yeah. The only thing I think we need to obviously bring the Dillian Whyte thing to a close now. But The only thing I would say, Dillian, if you ever watch this video, which you probably never will, or Dean, your brother, or whoever,
Yeah.
if you are innocent, do not give up fighting. Do not give up fighting.
And if it costs you every penny you've got, don't give up.
I told Connor exactly the same thing. Integrity is everything in this business. Everything. To me, it's everything. You know, I know, I mean, it's like this a third time, I think, and whatnot. The last time there was technicalities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
well,
it's
got contamination again.
Yeah, but once again, who found it? VADA, not UCAD.
Yeah.
So this is the problem. There's some serious problems with what's going on here. Are VADAs contaminating the all the samples or mixture of different samples, or are UCAD incapable of picking it up? That's my question, because they were tested by both.
You know what I mean, isn't it? Like the pendulum, what way is it swinging, eh?
Yeah, I mean, that's my problem, right? You can't have it both ways. VADA picked both Conor Benn and now Dillian Whyte up. UCAD didn't. Now, I must admit, Matchroom have done the right thing. They cancelled the fight immediately. They found out early on Saturday morning, especially after we watched the Simon Jordan TalkSport interview. Banging. I tell you what, I was looking at Eddie Hearn. He looked like he'd get up off that chair and give him a backhander across the table. I know. I tell you, that was really entertaining, guys. We'll put a link in the description below, or Michael will, one of our back team staff. But yeah, I thought it was great. Absolutely great bit of entertainment. Simon Jordan, we wish you all the best in your recovery. Yeah. A very, very honourable, good man. I'd love the opportunity to meet and have a chat with you, especially about boxing, because I couldn't say, you don't know shit about boxing. Because he knows lots. And if all of you just seen the banner thing move behind me, my green screen just smacked me in the back of the head. Not that you'd see it. It's come off his joke. But yeah, so I mean, that was a great little bit of to and fro in that Simon Jordan Eddie Hearn meeting on the. I think Jim didn't know where to put his head. It was great. I loved it. I mean, the thing is, right, is Simon Jordan has this I don't give a hoot, right, attitude with it. So he says, I don't need Matchroom. You can go off there and go to your mouthpiece, whoever that is, no names mentioned, all the rest of it. We know who that is. Yeah. And a good pal of yours for many years. But, you know, he doesn't, he's quite up to say, listen, we bring 9 million listeners to your show, to boxing, every month. You know, you want to say thank you. And we thank you, that's for sure. Except you need to have Fighters Talk TV on there talking to you about what's going on, because you get the truth from us, right? And we ain't going to give, I don't give a shit, man. We just don't care. We'll just tell it as it is. But no, it was a great bit of to and fro in there. Great bit of to and I respect Eddie Hearn for defending his position. But I will say this: you know, Eddie Hearn claims that his stable is like family, right? Okay, you can't spell family without lies. Go try it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So listen, everyone in this business tells a few porkies now and again. That's all part and parcel of it. The trouble is, with the modern day internet and everything else, you get found out, right? You get found out. So. You know, big up to Eddie, though, because he stood up to him and say, yeah, all you have to do is say sorry and I'll thank you. And because Simon Jordan was like, I ain't having that. No, I didn't hear much of one. But it's great to watch. Big up both Eddie Hearn and Simon Jordan. And, of course, once again, we wish you all the best with your help.
I've read on Twitter this morning that I reckon that Frank Warren was texting Simon Jordan.
Do you know what? That wouldn't actually surprise me. That really wouldn't surprise me. The two biggest promoters in the UK, both Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. And I just want to give a shout out to Frank Warren and Queensbury. They've invited us to the next 3 events. So thank you very much, guys. It is very much appreciated.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
And it'd be great to lock horns with Frank Warren for the first time and his son, So George. Quite looking forward to that. But
I'm looking forward to
Tyson Fury. You know that he bumped into him, not literally. So guys, if you haven't seen Max's challenge to Tyson Fury, check it out. He offers to spar with Tyson Fury ahead of his fight against Francis Ngannou. And that's quite interestingly leading into that particular fight, because some people are saying this could be Tyson Fury's last fight. We released the news article. Him didn't want to fight anymore after the Wilder 3 match. He has, lumps the size of fists on his head.
Yeah, memory loss.
Absolutely, and nobody would feel any less of you, Tyson, if you did retire due to that sort of thing. Because let me tell you something: you've made your money, you've made your name in the sport. For me, I know, but he is, and quite frankly, everything's deserved. He's won every belt that there is to win in the heavyweight boxing division, right?
Yeah.
And he's never lost any belts in the ring. Never, ever, ever.
As you corrected me last week.
Absolutely. But the other thing I would say to him, I honestly believe, and I think so does he from the latest articles, that he has the potential to be the best heavyweight ever. And I still stand by my decision.
Or in the last 15, 20 years.
No, ever. Listen, you can't judge how would Tyson Fury fight against Muhammad Ali, because there'd only be one winner, Tyson Fury, right? Muhammad Ali didn't. He could do the rope-a-dope as much as he liked, but when someone can do it better than you can, look how he performed against, Otto Wallin and those other guys when he's actually going like.
I was talking about it, he's sure he ain't part of the Matrix.
Yeah. And this is where the guy, for a 6'9" heavyweight fighter who was weighing 28 stone at his heaviest, dropped back down to 19, actually moves like a middleweight. Yeah. And he's not an athletic build like Anthony Joshua. That ain't saying you're no pussy, Tyson, right? It's him you got to whack. But what I'm saying to you is at the end of the day, this guy to me has the ability to be the best ever heavyweight. Now, let me tell you why. Let's say he fights Joshua, knocks Joshua out, which I think is going to be a big ask, because he fights differently.
I like Tyson more than I do like Anthony Joshua.
No, I'm not saying that's a problem, but I'm just saying that's a big ask. That is one I wouldn't be 100%.
I'd say, if they'd done a 12-round fight, I'd probably guarantee Joshua's will be banged out by the 8th round.
Listen, if Joshua hasn't knocked Tyson Fury out by the 8th round, he ain't winning. It's that simple.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
If Tyson won't get knocked out by the hardest punching human in the boxing world, Joshua's not knocking him out.
Listen, I'll dispute that. He's now facing the hardest puncher in the world in Francis Ngannou. And if you're worried about lumps the size of fists on his head, they're going to be the size of basketballs this time round.
Tyson Fury has confirmed that when one hits you, he will break bones.
Listen, every heavyweight does that.
Yeah, but not like Wilder. He's fast and hard, they are.
Yeah, I don't buy it. Let me tell you why I don't buy it.
The Joshua punches, you can see it coming 12, 10 mile away. When Wilder hits you, it's not crack.
Yeah, but it's the same as Joe Joyce. You can see him going like that man has a granite chin, right? A poor ice socket, but a granite chin. And that man, after all what's hanging to him, couldn't be put down. But all I would say on that sort of score is, obviously, we don't want to keep going back over the Joshua Fury sort of stuff, is that is a fight of two halves, in my opinion. Joshua has a better arsenal of talent than Wilder ever will have. Okay, that's it. There's no two ways about it. He has a lot more punches. He's the fastest combination puncher in the heavyweight division on his day. If Joshua doesn't dispatch Fury within, I would even go 6-7 rounds, it's all over. Joshua may pack his bags, put his towel over his head and walk out, because all that's going to happen is Fury's going to annihilate him. That's it. Joshua's only hope would be to come out fast and do a decoration job. And other than that, that's it. But going back to my point about Fury. So Fury beats Joshua, which I think is very possible. Okay, I think, like I've just explained. Fury then goes off and fights Usyk. Okay, those are the two fights left. He will be the only man, I believe, after Lennox Lewis, and the reason I put him close to Lennox Lewis is one step ahead of him. He's the only man. If he beats Usyk and he beats Joshua, he's beat everyone in the weight division that there is that's legendary in this weight division at this time. No other fighter in history, I don't believe, other than the great Rocky Marciano, has actually done that. Okay? So, but what I would say is that he would, in my opinion, be the best heavyweight of all, one of them, if not the best of all time, if you beat those two. And it's because it's the only two that I believe out there right now that actually is legacy defining. Because they're the only two that are going to sell seats, right? And then, if he does that, and he retires and stops fighting and starts promoting or training whatever it is he does, I think he can't live without boxing. Then I think arguably you could argue he is the best of all time heavyweights, and that is why, because Lennox Lewis, as great as he is, as great as he was, would not have lost to Hasim Rahman Senior. Okay, because he didn't take him seriously.
Yeah, but when they come back and make sure.
I don't give a shit about that, right? I don't care about that, because Tyson Fury would have got to the same position without losing once. So that would put him that. I'm only talking about that much in front of him, right? But that's what it would do. That's how I feel. Anyway, so moving on. From obviously that, and once again, well done, Matchroom. Looking forward to the fight. Of course, I'll be watching it on the Zone instead of being there. I might want to go and see Eddie next. Actually, for Eddie, it's kind of like that. Really, he's about 6'4", and he's about 5 inches bigger than me.
Give him a flick him in the balls.
Yeah, back to the school slap.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Anyway, no, not at all, Eddie. You know me. I'm not going to do that. You said that we were the new IFL, so I'm all praise. Anyway, so moving on. Let's go down the card. We had George Liddard in our studio, didn't we? What a lovely young man he is.
Yes, I'll tell you what, that man, should I say now, is going to be a future champion, and he's going to be there very soon. In the next couple of years, he's going to be a champion.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't believe for 1 minute there's anyone out there to match him. I really don't believe that. No. And as young as he is, at his weight division, it is incredible to watch his sparring and everything.
And the longer he tries to make the fight last, the quicker it's over.
Well, I said to him, are you going to allow the fight to last a little bit longer this time so we can at least boil an egg instead of having it half cooked? Do you know what I mean? And 120 seconds of the first round, he destroys his last opponent. Anyway, I mean, we wish George all the very, very best. George, if you're watching, say hi, give us a shout. It'd be lovely to have you back in the studio once again. You signed one of our gloves. Fantastic. And looking forward to meeting you again. But yeah, I think he's got a great chance. I mean, there's some great people on that card. This step down, you've got, the Romford Ball, good old Romford boys all together.
And he's fighting for a belt, isn't he?
I think he's fighting for the English title, isn't he? So he's coming on, which I'm really, really pleased about, by the way.
Yeah. I know that he does a demolition job, so he's stepped up a bit. If he proves himself on Saturday, then I think he's going to up himself in the ranks and he can start fighting better, stronger opponents.
Well, I think Eddie Hearn said the last time out that, this is his apprenticeship's done. It's now on to the real deal. I mean, we were there for the Edwards Campos match, and he faced Salas then, and he just didn't even catch him, did he?
Yeah,
so
I think it's totally unfair on Romford Ball's behalf, because he's gone there to have a fight. And one half decent punch to give him, he threw himself on the floor, giving it I don't know. And I think it's totally unfair, especially the amount of training they have to do for to be over in a minute.
So I want to put a controversial thing out here, because obviously we have chats about boxing every day of our lives, right? We just live, eat, talk, shit, and breathe this stuff, right? So I'm going to tell you guys, right? Max said that when obviously it was announced that Dillian Whyte failed a drugs test, Max said, why don't he put the Romford Ball in with Anthony Joshua? And I said, are you off your head? Yeah, definitely. Now, whilst that may sound a great idea, it's far too early in Johnny Fisher's career. He wouldn't stand up to Joshua. Joshua would just deal with him inside of 3 rounds. There is levels to this, and that's far too early to be taking on a Joshua-type character. Listen, Johnny, I am not disputing you would do better than that. I'm not disputing that at all. Before you punch my teeth out. But, and obviously Romford boys, we all stay together. But, however, there is levels to this. And I would hate for, it to go completely wrong at this early stage. You've got to go up British, Commonwealth, European, international, interim champion. You can step through this heavyweight division. And I'll tell you what, there's an awful lot of bloody good heavyweights out there. And speaking of another heavyweight on the title, the old Derek Chisora, War Chisora, God. And David Haye, yeah, are my boys ready for that? No, you'd be splattered as well. So, and you know what? I love Derek Chisora. I think he's so funny. He's one of the characters in boxing. He's now coming towards the end of his boxing career. And it's sad to think that in the next couple of years he could be gone from boxing altogether.
Yeah.
I'm just so looking for this card.
You need more men with his characteristics, with his charisma. You know what I mean?
or chucking tables at everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he has got one of those great characters. Did you see his outfit today, all in red and white? I just...
I thought he was... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I thought he's wearing a Five Guys uniform.
Hey, Del, I didn't say that, Del boy. That was Max. I didn't say shit. That wasn't me. You got hurt. So it's quite... Now look at it this way, right? So I do apologise. Go back to Johnny Fisher. It's the Southern Area heavyweight title. So he's doing it right. Southern Area, British, all that sort of stuff. So there is an awful lot of heavyweights on this stuff. You know, you've got Joshua Helenius, Hrgovic McKean, Fisher Armstrong, and Chisora Washington, right? Also on the card, Campbell Hatton. So he was thrust into the limelight. So we spent about a little bit longer than that. We actually had a talk with his dad, didn't we? We had the pleasure of meeting Ricky Hatton, and came up and said, "Dad, do you think he's going to make it in the pro ranks?" And he says, "Listen, I hope so. I think he's got the talent, but if he doesn't, it won't be for the want of trying." And he's actually looking a bit more spiteful. And there is a younger Hatton brother coming through, a younger Hatton family member coming through as well. So it's going to be. I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting. It really, really is. So anyway, so that's what we like to see for the card coming up, and that's obviously fight in 2 days' time. So hopefully the team will get this video out tomorrow, so it'll be released on Thursday, hopefully. If not, don't worry, we've got our videographer's name is Dickie, and I'll kick him in the Dickie if he doesn't get it out. So I think that's probably about fair. Anyway, so what news have you got for me, Max?
Well, I was just watching earlier when KSI went face to face with Dillian, is it Darnis?
Yep.
Well, this is very entertaining. You know, they sort of half offering each other out, and all of a sudden, Dillian slapped KSI. That was erupted.
The trouble is, it's Misfits boxing. Do you think it's all staged?
Well, what's the point? Why was KSI meeting him? Logan Paul's fighting him.
Oh, listen, I think they just need to cream as much out of the YouTube audience as they can before. I mean, there's some of us are saying YouTube's dying.
He told like a little waggle and walked out, and then when he got put down again, tried going for him. I thought, listen, this Dillian is a seasoned MMA fighter.
Yeah,
he'll be instantly.
He'll be pulling limbs off. Since Tony Baker said, once the MMA fighter goes like that, he goes, no worries, I got no beef with you.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, it's quite interesting. It is quite interesting, I think.
Obviously, KSI's talking about retiring after this Tommy fight, isn't he?
That's because I don't think he's going to win. And I think he knows it. I don't think he's going to win at all.
You see him sitting there with his fake belt and that he's got made up. What is that all about?
Just holds up his trousers.
It's just as fake as the WWE belts.
Well, yeah, that's it. Oh dear.
Yes.
Anyway, so
change the subject.
Go on.
Did you watch Smith Eubank doing a video call today?
I didn't. Fill me in.
Well, I think Eubank must be a bit delusional because he was saying, like, for 3 rounds, you never even touched me, blah, 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 outboxed you. And Smith was like, Who's saying that? And he went, no one's saying that, I'm saying that. I was in the ring with you, I was in fast space, and you never touched me for 3 rounds. You know what I mean? But you got banged out after that. What are we going to say? And Eubank was, I don't know, this is the way he was, like, I don't think he's remembering the fight properly.
Well, his own father brands him a fraud. Well, I tell you what, you know, the way I would.
I do think it's going to be a different fight this time because a lot of circumstances on the last fight. You know, with the Conor Benn scenario, him losing a lot of weight. You know, to start with, I think he was weak.
And I don't think he recovered properly from the Conor Benn thing, did he? I think if we're perfectly honest.
Mentally does as well as physically. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a different fight and he's going to put a good show on. And is it going to be repeatable revenge? You know, who knows?
Anyway, guys, I mean, what I think, guys, is if you've got a question to ask us, there are a few of you actually talking to us on YouTube now. So feel free to ask us a question. We'll give you our honest opinions. Whether you like it or not, we'll answer it. So it'd be great. So don't forget, do like and subscribe to the channel because it does help us out. Also, go and watch up Fighters Talk TV. And go to fighterstalktv.com to have your say. Anyway, Max, so I'm going to move and talk about one of our favourite fighters, Conor Benn. Yes. Okay, so there he's saying that he's going to annihilate. I think I think it's Kell Brook, isn't it, who he's saying that he's going to annihilate in sort of 6 rounds. And you know what? It's very difficult to argue that.
Yeah, I think. Kell Brook's going to be a very silly boy if he comes out of retirement to face Conor.
I think it's a bad mistake. I really think it's a bad mistake. But there's a bit of spat going on between Dominic Ingle, who's his trainer, I believe, of Kell Brook, and
I think he got his phone out and stirring, didn't he?
Well, he offered to give 10 grand to a charity, so he went, okay, at Great Ormond Street Hospital, I'll go 20 grand, but I'll still slap the shit out of him. I think it's basically what it would be. Listen, both boys put in 10 grand each, and don't worry about who wins. Just Great Ormond Street Hospital will be the.
That's what it's all about. You know, if you've got spare money to throw into a good charity, and Great Ormond Street is a good charity because they help a lot of sick children in there. So.
Absolutely, and it's sort of great to see, really, when fighters do. I mean, I'm all for things like that, you know. I quite like all that, and you know, it makes it a bit more competitive, doesn't it?
Well, if there's going to be like a charity event, I'll jump in the ring for anyone. If it's a charity, I don't mind getting punched in for it.
Well, well, that's it. I don't mind getting a slap either. We probably will eventually. I mean, we upset enough people, but. It's going to be interesting. It really is going to be interesting. So next week when we come back and we'll obviously be talking about the fight results from what we've just had, as it were. One thing I want to say before we go: big shout out to Alex Krasuk and Alexander Usyk for inviting us over to the training camp. Very sorry, guys, we couldn't actually make it to you because my son's autistic. I mean, most of the world knows that. I think he's disabled, and he's going on his first ever plane ride. To see if I can start taking him around the world because I travel a lot. So I do apologise, Alex and Alexander. Very much appreciated, and we look forward to coming and speaking with you when you're back UK side. And it would be a pleasure. You can feel free to send us a couple of tickets for the fight on the 26th of August. We will be there. We will report on it. It will be wonderful. Please send us that. That'll be exciting. You know, unfortunately, Matchroom forgot to send us the stuff for the pressers. So if you don't, love you forever. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for joining us on another episode of No S Given. Don't forget to like and subscribe to both the channels, FTTV Boxing and Fighters Talk TV. And we will see you again next week. Bosh!